Good morning, readers. Happy Friday. Today, we are going to write letters again to our teacher, but I am going to give you guys a choice about what you write about. So follow along and see what are your choices and how are we going to do this today, okay? I'm going to make this a quick video so that you're not watching too long, okay? So today, what you're going to be doing is you're going to pick what kind of letter or what you want to write in your letter. But I also want to make sure that we're writing letters in the right format, okay? So most importantly, what I want you guys to notice is how I write my letter. It starts off with dear and then the person's name. So you will write Miss Smith or Mrs. Davis, right? After you write dear and our name, you need a comma, just like that, okay? Then you'll notice there's a space. You go underneath, and then on the first line, put like two fingers as a space, okay? And then you can start writing. See how there's like a little bit of a space? I don't start right at the edge of my paper. I go in. It's called an indent. That's what you do when you write a letter. You give a little bit of space, and then you start. I read the book. Tell me the title of your book. Let's say I read the book Big Bad Bubble. Remember when I read that book to you guys? Let's say that's the book that I spent time reading today. I'm going to write the title of the book, Big Bad Bubble. And that's how I'm going to, fill it in. Sorry, guys. So I read the book, and I answer, Big Bad Bubble. Okay? Then what you write next, you get a choice. So the choices that you're going to make is either you're going to make a connection to something that happened in your book. So maybe you tell me something it reminded you of. But before you can tell me of what it reminded you of, you have to tell me what happened that made you remind you of something. So you would say in the book, then tell me what happened. Then you would write it reminded me of, and then tell me what that thing reminded you of, okay? So that's you telling me a connection you had to something that happened in your book. If you want, you can do a prediction. This will only work if you haven't finished your book yet. So if you read a lot of your book but you haven't finished it yet, then you can make a prediction. If you already finished your book, you can't make a prediction because you already know. So a prediction sounds like this. In the book, blank, you can tell me what happened, what last happened, right? And then you can tell me, I think blank will happen next. So you tell me, what do you think is going to happen after that? So that's going to be if you choose to do a prediction. You could also ask a question. So maybe something happened in the book that you don't understand. Or maybe there's something that happened in the book that you want to know more about. Like, why did they do this? So you're going to tell me what happened in the book, and then what did it make you think or wonder? It's really only like 2 sentences long, right? What's that one thing that happened in the book that made you think, I want to know more about that, or I don't understand that, okay? And then the last choice you have is to write a summary. So tell me what happened in the beginning, middle, and end of your whole story. So these are your 4 choices. Pick one, either a connection, a prediction, a question, or a summary. This will be in the picture. Why don't you stop the video right now and you can use this to help you with your writing. Okay? So then you come back here and you keep writing your letter. So dear, you have your teacher's name. So for me, it would be Dear Mrs. Davis, comma. Go underneath, there's an indent. I read the book Big Bad Bubble. In the book, and then I'm going to say I chose to do what it reminded me. I'm doing a connection. So if you remember in the book Big Bad Bubble, the monsters are afraid of bubbles. Look, they're running away. They're like very nervous, okay? And when this happened, it actually made me think of my brother's dog, Lilo, and how whenever we have a bag of anything, we have a bag and it makes the noise of the bag, she runs away and she gets really scared. And we always think it's so funny because it's just a bag. It's nothing There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a bag. So just how silly it is that the monsters are scared of this bubble, that's what it makes me think of. So I'm going to write in the book, the monsters are afraid of bubbles. Okay, so that's what's happening in the book that made me think of something. So in the book, the monsters are afraid of bubbles. It reminded me of, and I'm going to write what it reminded me of. It reminded me of how my brother's dog Lilo, runs away in fear of bags. Okay, so that's what it reminded me of. And then I can't forget, after I write one of these, either a connection, a prediction, a question, or a summary, I have to end by doing my closing. I say, who wrote this letter? From, comma, and look, I don't put it next to it, I put it underneath. I put my name on the bottom. So from Daniela. Okay, so from, comma, go underneath and write your name. This is what your letter should look like. Make sure you check. Does it follow the same? Does it look the same? It should. Dear teacher's name, I read the book, blank. Then tell me connection, a prediction, a question, a summary. End with from, comma, your name. If you want, you can pause the video, use this as an example, okay? And also go back to this if you need to see how to do a connection, how to do a prediction, how to do a question, and how to do a summary. All right, so pick one of those. I can't wait to see what you guys are reading and the connections you're making, the predictions you're making, questions you're having, or just to know what happened in the story.